Hey, Reg, do you have Dorothy's phone number? Can you call? She just tried calling me. Can you call her? Hello? What the
I can hear.
heck? God dang it.
I can hear you, Rick, but
I just gotta get my vMix up and running here. Everybody can hear us, by the way.
Paul,
Yes,
where's Lars?
he's right there.
Okay, all right. How long?
Hang on, I'll tell you. I'm getting there. Lars, can you hear me?
yep, I can hear you.
I don't know what's going on with this.
I can hear you too.
Here we go. Ready, Mr. Rick? 1, 2.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting evening with yours truly and my guest tonight, Lars Erickson from Colorado. You're watching On the Hunt with Alpine Optics, and we'll be right back with you in just a few moments.
Hey, Rick.
Well, welcome back, everyone. We've got about a 5-minute late start here this evening, just working out a few bugs, but everything is up and running, and we are good to go. It is hot here in Iowa I think the low to mid 90s, but we've got a lot of humidity. Paul, what are you looking at down your way?
Mildly cool, actually. Not so bad.
Well, let's check in with our old buddy Lars, our guest tonight from Colorado. Lars, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Rick?
Good. How's your weather?
It's not too bad. Probably 90-ish, and getting ready to go play golf as soon as I'm done with this, and hopefully take some money from some of my buddies.
Well, there you go. Yeah, well, you better hope that's the case. I know you guys don't get the humidity out there that we get here in the Midwest and, of course, in the southern states. And it's sometimes kind of hard to deal with. But that's Iowa and some of the other states for you. So hopefully we're going to have a pretty good crowd tonight. I've got a couple things I want to talk about this evening, but let's start off with what have you been up to here the last I know you went turkey hunting this spring, but what have you been doing since? Just working, or what do you got going on?
Just working, spending a little time cabin time, and hunting turkeys and fishing a little bit here and there. Getting ready to set out a bunch of trail cameras though for my dad drew 61 like we were talking earlier, so I'll be doing that the rest of the summer. So
That sounds good. Explain to people, in Colorado, and we're going to talk elk hunting, but the state, like a lot of states, is split up into different areas or zones. And 61, and I know 61, I've been on it, and it's a trophy unit. But what's involved with drawing 61, and how big is it, just to give people an idea?
It's a pretty big unit. It's probably 60 miles long and probably 8 to 10 miles wide or more. I don't know the exact range, but it's pretty big. Put in for a point, you pay a little bit of money, they give you a point, and each year you get into the draw, and it takes anywhere from 15 to 18 to 20, depending on what you're putting in for. So, and if you're in state, out of state. So that's
right. I know you and I. Yeah, and you and I had talked earlier. I've got 17 points now, and I believe that next year I'm going to try to put in for the tag. Now, that doesn't mean I'll get the tag. And now you can also in Colorado. There's some areas that take a lot more points, and there's some areas that take very few points, and then there are some areas that's just over the counter purchasing a tag. Is that still pretty much the case?
Still the same. You can buy an over the counter tag for archery. Second rifle season, third rifle season, depending on the unit. I think fourth is still all draw for certain units for cow and obviously bull. But yeah, that's we're fortunate to be able to draw a tag pretty regularly and go over the counter. So.
Right. Well, I know you and I have elk hunted together quite a few times over the years, but there's some folks listening tonight that maybe have never elk hunted, or maybe some people that are thinking about elk hunting. What would you tell the person that's going to go on an elk hunt that he could be doing this time of the year to maybe help improve his chances on having a successful hunt?
The thing every year is you come up to altitude, walk, get in shape the best you can, break your boots in, get good boots for sure. Just walk, get in shape the best you can. Walk up the mountain with a pack with weight on it. Shoot your bow with your pack. Get out of breath running, do something like that, and then shoot your bow, and hopefully that helps a little bit.
Well, you're exactly right. And as you get closer to season or before you go, drink a lot of water. But, you hit the nail on the head. Make sure, I know some elk hunters that have bought brand new boots to go elk hunting in. I don't recommend that. Make sure that you have, not only if you have new boots, that's fine, but make sure you've worn them around the house or out working in the yard or whatever for a couple of months prior to going elk hunting, because the last thing you want to find out is that your boots rub your feet, raw while you're elk hunting, because it will be miserable for you. And the altitude is another thing. And even I remember, Lars, years ago, even when I was quite a bit younger and going elk hunting, being a Midwestern here, I get out in the mountains, and it's breathing that air is a whole different game. I don't care how good a shape you're in. If you're not used to it, it's gonna get you. And I would go out and elk hunt for a month to 6 weeks. I might be out there in elk camp, and by towards the halfway through it, then I was starting to acclimate pretty good. But them first couple of weeks were tough on me.
Yeah, it's tough. You can prepare all you want, but until you're here, it's not the same. Train as much as you can, be the best you can at it, and hope you don't get altitude sickness. So
that's exactly right. Now, I know also that the thin air, and of course it depends on the elevation you're hunting, but it can affect the way your bow shoots. So the way your bow shooting's here, shooting here at my house, like if I'm out shooting and I head up into the mountains and I get around 10, 12,000 feet, it's going to shoot different. And people need to know that as well.
Sure. Yeah. When you get here, you gotta shoot it. Make sure, just for many reasons, like you said, altitude. If you bump it, who knows why, that your bow messed up. It's just shoot when you get here and dial it back in. So.
Yep. Now, do you recommend yourself? I mean, I have my thoughts on it, but do you recommend a maybe a specific or a type of broadhead that you recommend people use while they're bow hunting?
I like the fixed blades, just to always have shot them. Just feel that the mechanical, there's something that could always go wrong. Whether it does or doesn't, that's, a big debate. And I always say that I think a good shot's not going to replace a broadhead. So if you have a good shot, your success will go up. So
right, when you're deer hunting, mechanical, and I like mechanicals. I use mechanicals quite a bit, especially when I'm deer hunting. But obviously you don't want to hit any animal in the shoulder. But if you hit a deer in the shoulder, you have a chance of recovering that deer. You hit an elk in the shoulder, you might as well just wave goodbye to him and your arrow, because you're not going to see either one of them again. So, what tactics? Your season comes in, I believe, the end of August?
I believe so too. Yeah.
What do you recommend for early elk season? I mean, how would you, the rut hasn't started, it's hot, how do you hunt them? How do you be successful hunting early?
Well, for me, I would use, kind of figure out where the water is, go to the water, or set yourself up in between the water and where they bed. Do that, a little bit of light cow calling, nothing wild. You might scare them off because it's too early and they know it. Spend a lot of time glassing, just looking around, figuring out their patterns a little bit if you can. Get up as high as you can. That's my favorite thing to do, is get as high in elevation as you can get, see them, and then go to them. So,
yep. What do you feel about hunting over wallows?
I haven't done much of it because I haven't had good luck, but a lot of friends do that, and they have year after year success. So, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's a good thing, and they're going to go there early season, keep the bugs off of them, cool down, all those things. So,
yep. How important is it to make sure that these elk don't smell you?
Really important. I usually don't worry about the wind until about 100 yards, and then I start really paying attention if they're bugling. You just kind of go that direction. Always try to play the altitude, thermals. Kind of learn those things, how that works when the sun's coming up, when it's going down. Shade, always be in the shade.
So your thermals typically are going up the mountain in the morning and then down in the evening. Is that correct?
Yep. And then not just, you got a whole valleys here. You got mountains that go up from 14,000 feet, 10,000 feet down to 5,000 or 6,000 feet. So you got to play that into factors, and also the ridge that you're on too, because it can be going completely down the valley and also up the ridges. And then when it switches from the nighttime, it'll be going down valley and down the ridges. So you got a little bit of thinking to do there, but it's Colorado, the wind will switch once. So.
Right. And it really doesn't matter. I mean, what scent elimination company? I use Elimishield, and I feel it's one of the better ones out there for sure. But these darn elk, when you walk up a hill, you're sweating terribly, and even though your clothes might be treated, your skin is going to put off a scent. And these elk, they smell just unbelievably well, and I can't tell you how many times people get in a hurry and they want to get in on those elk. And I've learned from you and others that I've hunted with over the years that just take your time, and if it's not the right situation, just back out, let them go, and get on them another day. Because when you start bumping them, it's not going to make your elk hunting any easier.
No, they can go a long ways real fast. I mean, if you've seen them run a mile like it's nothing, you're done.
Yeah, you bump a deer here in the Midwest, and he'll run 100 yards and stop and slow down and look around. An elk, he'll be in the next county. So it's and you can't keep up with them. And even when they're just walking at just a regular pace, you can't run faster than elk walk in the mountains, because it's just the terrain's tough to get around. And man, it's just amazing to me what these elk can do with these big racks, and they go in and out of the poplar trees and out of the oak brush and all that. How they get through that stuff is just amazing.
And how quiet they are. I mean, you're sitting there
Yeah,
cow
that's
calling,
right.
and then they're there, and you don't even hear them or see them. It's unbelievable.
Yep. So when we get closer to the rut, we get into the rut. How do your tactics change? What are you doing then?
Well, for me, I try to get, like I said, as high as I can get. Listen, do a little bit of a locator bugle. If they're rutting hard, I'll do that, and then mainly I cow call. I always feel that's safe. You can always go to the bugle harder, during that time. But cow call is always safe in my eyes.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I've called in some bulls, a lot more bulls probably cow calling, but every now and then, getting out there and bugling and challenging them has brought bulls in too. So you just got to kind of take their temperature and see how they're responding and how they're reacting. And it's kind of like turkey hunting in a way, just you're hunting a much bigger animal.
Sure.
Now, when you're out in the mountain and you're out there camping and you're hunting and stuff, I know every now and then you break away and you go out to your favorite stream and you do a little bit of trout fishing. Can you catch trout pretty much anywhere in the mountains?
Mostly we have brook trout that they're 4, 5, 6 inches. Some rainbows where we're up in the high country, and some of the places we have the native cutthroat. One of the only places in Colorado to catch it is right out of town here. So that's kind of fun. I haven't had any luck. I'm terrible at them, but buddy's right next to me. I don't get them. So
yeah, how do most people fish trout? Are they fly fishing or what are they using?
They're fly fishing, floating down the river. We got some good rivers here in the Gunnison and the Uncompahgre and all that. Just fly fishing. Some do, lures and all that, but I'm more of the fly fishing. I don't have the patience to do it. I like being up and down the river, walking and fly fishing and doing that instead of sitting there.
Now you're in this. Yep, and you're in the southwestern part of the state. Now, one thing Colorado does, and honestly, I don't understand it myself personally, but if you get a muzzleloader tag, you first of all cannot use a scope on your muzzleloader. You cannot use pellets for powder, and you cannot shoot a sabot or sabot slug out of your gun. And I still have a problem with that a little bit, because why? I mean, I know so many people that have shot round balls and all this different stuff, and they're not very accurate, and they wound a lot of animals. Seems to me that they would want to allow them to shoot the most accurate gun within reason. On a muzzleloader, you can only shoot out to about 200 yards really effectively. And, so maybe you don't allow scopes and then your range is 100 to 150, but why not? And loose pellet powder, I'm okay with that, but why not sabots? Any idea?
I don't know. I think they're trying to keep it as traditional as they can get it, but I agree with you. The accuracy, we always say if you shoot one with a muzzleloader, you try to get another shot in them if you can, because we've seen them get up and run off, and that's terrible too.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what outweighs the good and bad with that, but I would push for the better bullet over the round balls and all that. So
right. So now you're out in the southwestern part of the state, and I know you have a lot of mule deer. You have pretty good bear population too, I believe, don't you?
Yeah, we have a lot of bears here. I think you can get 2 or 3 bear tags right now, something like that. It's almost every season you can do that right now. So, I've already seen, I think, 6 or 8 bears this spring. So it's pretty wild. Just saw one last weekend at our cabin, just running down the road. So young one.
You're also in the land of the land of Merriam's turkeys, and they are probably one of the prettiest turkeys, I think, out of the 4 subspecies in the United States. And I know, would you say your turkey numbers are down, say, the last 10 years, or are they still good?
I would say they've been down, but this year It seems like there was turkeys more so in spots that I'd never seen them. Whether there's more there or not, but talking to some friends, they said this is the highest population turkeys they've seen. So I would say our numbers are up just by talking to people. So
I got you, Paul. Do we have any questions at all tonight?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, listen. Let me talk about just a couple quick things. Next week, I just wanted to remind everybody. Next week, I've got Mr. Wingbone himself, Edwin Schertz, will be on the show, and he's just now finishing up that custom call I've been talking about. A custom call, deer grunt call, custom, and a beautiful call, great sounding call, and we're going to give that away on next week's show. Also tonight. And this isn't a big, it's not as nice as maybe that grunt call will be, but we just finished Through the Eyes of a Hunter Turkey Season number 4 DVD, and it's late coming out because it was beyond our control. We had some issues with some different things, and we actually didn't completely finish it until after turkey season, but I have it now. It's brand new. It's a great DVD, and I'm going to give one away tonight. I want to try to give something away as often as I can. But anyway, those that are watching, and we're going to make it easy tonight, pick a number and send it, just make a comment between 1 and 31. Okay? 1 and 31, and we'll give you a few minutes, and then I'll check back with Paul, and we're going to, and I don't know what the number is going to be, and nobody does, but we're going to figure it out here in just a few minutes. So between 1 and 31, get your guess out there, and I'm gonna send you one of our new season 4 DVDs, and you'll like it. And yeah, I'm old-fashioned. Call me old-fashioned. I'm still a DVD guy. Paul's probably sitting back there saying, "DVDs? They still make those?" Yeah, they do. We do.
A while
so
back.
yeah.
how'd you come up with the number?
What's that now, Lars?
How'd you come up with the number between 1 and 31 of all numbers?
You just relax. I'll explain that in just a little bit.
Yeah.
So
All right.
between 1 and 31, and people that were on last week will probably have a pretty good idea on this one. But are we getting a few guesses, Paul?
Couple.
All right. Well, you got. Let's see, it's 6:24. We'll give them 2 more minutes, and we'll give something away. So Lars, when is your dad going elk hunting? Does he have the gun season, or is he bow hunting?
He's got the muzzleloader, so it's right in the rut of
the 10th. It comes in the 10th of October or September, doesn't it?
Yep. So we'll be spending a lot of time up there. Gosh, like we said, it's been 18 years since he's had that tag. So
if you were going to come out to Colorado elk hunting, and you were going to take off a week, 10 days, vacation and go, in your opinion, what would be the best week or 10 days or 2 weeks that you would want to bow hunt in the state of Colorado?
Always the last 2 weeks for me. It seems to be good. Some people like the early few days, first week, because no one's really out there messing with them. So, but for me, their season, they're bugling, they're running around, doing what I love to do is calling them in and doing that. So I prefer that.
So I lived in Denver, up in Parker, Colorado.
Uh-huh.
And is the weather pretty much the same down there where you're at?
Kinda. Yeah, similar.
Because I know in the winter, if it was sunny outside, and didn't matter if it was 2,
mm-hmm.
I didn't need a coat.
Sure.
And nobody believes me. Everybody thinks I'm crazy.
Yep. We'll be barbecuing outside.
That's to be determined. But
Well,
Lars, you're about an hour and a half south. Yeah, I mean, there's no humidity. It's definitely a more comfortable cold. I think, Lars, are you about an hour and a half south of Grand Junction, or a couple hours, or
hour south of Grand Junction?
Okay, so yeah, you're down there. Do you get a lot of snow where you're at?
In the mountains, we do. Obviously, this last year we didn't get as much as we need or want, but in town we don't. This year was not bad. I think we got one storm that was 6-8 inches. That's it, the most.
Wow.
So
I gotcha. All right. Well, listen, Paul, I hope everybody that's on has given you a number.
Well, ready when you are.
Okay, Lars, what day is your birthday?
7.
The 7th. And I had no idea. And of course, nobody else did. So the 7 is the number between 1 and 31. Who's the closest tonight there, Paul?
Well, let's see. John Dallas.
I'm not seeing any of these guesses. I'm not
know.
seeing them.
John Dallas said 19. Mary Dennis Erickson said 28. John Miles said 22. Now, I have a little bit of an aside here. I don't think this person should be eligible. If it's Shirt's call, right, Mr. Wingbone?
Well, yeah, it's his call, but it's my DVD. But
it's your DVD.
Yeah,
I got a little confused.
But is Edwin the closest?
Yeah, he's got 12.
Okay, so well, Edwin was the closest, but he's not going to be the winner. Okay, how about that? We just say it like that. Sorry, Edwin.
He's
got to
a
do
copy.
it to you. Yep, and
he made it.
And he's my editor, and he gets as many as he needs. So who's the next closest one?
Well, that would be John Dallas.
John Dallas. Okay, John Dallas is going to get, and he's, believe it or not, he's got a hunt on the video. So
nice.
Technically, he's going to get one anyway.
So maybe, maybe Jason Miles then.
Jason Miles.
Yeah.
I'll have to think about that one. Yeah. All right. All right. Well, that's good. All right. Well, that takes care of it. Jason knows how to.
Do you want to
he knows how to get a hold of me, and I'll be glad to send him.
Or do you want to go with John Dallas?
Well, how about if I just all three of those are going to get a DVD? How about that?
Okay.
Sounds
it easy. Awesome.
Make it easy. So, anyways, okay. Well,
Lars wants one.
I want an autograph.
Lars, do you have a DVD player still, Lars?
I can dig it out of the closet or something. Probably.
Hey, don't say that. I've got mine. I've got every TV's got one in my house. I like my DVDs.
Yeah.
Antique Roadshow or what?
Yeah. So mine are all Blu-ray players, and I like watching a good movie, on big screens.
Acceptable.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
sure.
And these are HD, actually HD quality DVDs. I mean, they're
20.
Yep, and so we put our DVDs on a dual layer disc, so that we have the room to put them on the DVD. We wouldn't be able to put them on a single layer disc. So, anyways, Lars, time's gone pretty fast. I wish you and your dad good luck. We need to have you back on the show. How about after you guys go on that hunt?
Yeah, or we can do it before too, and kind of give you an update of what's happening here with trail
we can
cameras.
do that. I want to see. Yeah, that'd be great. I want to see pictures, and I know you use a lot of the Bresser trail cams, and I've seen a lot of photos. You get a lot of good elk photos and stuff. And have you had good luck with the cameras, and you like them?
I love them. They're just what I need. They take a picture, tell me the time. That's all I need.
Yeah, I mean, they're inexpensive cameras that allow you to put, when you're putting cameras out in the West for elk, you can't just go out and put one camera up in a water hole. You got to put multiple cameras in a lot of different places because elk just travel so much. And, I say this every week, and I sound like a recording, but for you deer hunters, multiple cameras in your hunting places not only give you all the pictures of the deer that are on your place, but if you pay attention to where you're getting the photos, you'll get multiple photos of the same deer. And if you pay attention to where they are in relationship to the time, you can put together a travel route for that deer, which will make you more successful. So, Lars, I appreciate you coming on tonight. We'll get you back on. You just give me a shout when you want to do it, and we'll go from there. Next week, I've got Edwin coming on. We're going to give away that deer call. But, Lars, say hi to everybody out there for me.
I will. And I'll try to find my DVD player out of the closet somewhere.
Well, if you
All
don't
right.
find one, I'm sure Paul's got an extra one he can send you. So,
No.
anyways,
I gave all mine
Yeah.
away.
oh boy, here we go. Here we go. All right. Well, I still have mine.
You brought
Guys,
it up.
speak up. Who has a DVD player? I want to know next week. But guys, it's time for me to go have dinner, and time for Paul to go home. He's put in a long day, and Lars,
I've
you
been
got to
here
go
since
golfing.
7:30.
So, yep.
Oh.
Well, Lars has got to go golfing. I know. He wanted me to get done as quick as I could. So everybody, make sure you check us out next Wednesday, 6 to 6:30 on The Hunt with Alpine Optics. And on behalf of Lars and Paul and myself, we appreciate you coming along with us this evening. Good night, everybody.